In January 2004, a woman in Japan began posting on an online forum saying the train she was on wouldn't stop, and no one could explain why. At first, her messages seemed completely normal. She said she was just heading home, but within minutes, people reading her posts began to realize something was very wrong. The woman was posting under the name Hasumi. She was using 2channel, one of Japan's largest online forums at the time. Her first message was simple. She said she had been riding the train for a while, but something felt strange. The train had passed several stations without stopping. Now, if you've ever taken a train late at night, you might think maybe it's an express service. That's exactly what some of the users on the forum suggested. But Hasumi replied that she regularly used this train line and it had never behaved like this before. Minutes later, she posted again. The train was still moving. No announcements, no other passengers reacting, just silence. At this point, more people on the forum began responding. They asked her which train line she was on. Hasumi replied that she was on the Enshu railway line in Shizuoka Prefecture. But users quickly noticed something unusual. The Enshu line is relatively short. There was no way a train could continue that long without stopping. Eventually, the train slowed down and came to a stop. Hasumi stepped off. She looked around and described what she saw. An empty station, no staff, no passengers, no surrounding buildings, just darkness. She checked the station sign. It read, Kisaragi Station. People on the forum immediately began searching for the station. But there was a problem. No station by that name existed, not on the Enshu line, not anywhere in Japan. At this point, the tone of the conversation changed. Users began asking her to leave the station and find help. But Hasumi said there was nothing around her. No taxis, no nearby roads, just railway tracks stretching into the distance. She decided to start walking along the tracks, continuing to post updates as she went. At one point, she mentioned hearing something strange. Drums, faint rhythmic sounds in the distance, like a festival. There were no lights, no sign of people, just a sound echoing through the darkness. As she continued walking, Hasumi wrote that she encountered someone, a man standing nearby. She described him as having one leg. He suddenly shouted something at her. She became frightened and began to run. Not long after, she posted again. This time, she said a stranger had offered to drive her home. People on the forum immediately warned her not to get into the car. But her final message read, I think I'll be okay. I'm getting into the car now. And after that, the post stopped. The user known as Hasumi never posted again. No one was ever able to identify her. And to this day, Kisaragi Station does not exist on any railway map in Japan. But the Kisaragi Station incident isn't the only paranormal story to come out of Japan. Our next story is very different. It doesn't involve a train or a disappearance. It begins with something much smaller, a doll. In 1918, on the northern island of Hokkaido, a 17-year-old boy named Eikichi Suzuki visited a market in the city of Sapporo. While browsing the stalls, he came across a small doll dressed in a traditional kimono. It had a pale porcelain face and short, neatly cut black hair. He bought the doll as a gift for his 2-year-old sister. Her name was Okiku. According to the family, Okiku loved the doll immediately. She carried it everywhere. She played with it constantly. It quickly became her favorite toy. But less than a year later, Okiku became very ill. Historical accounts say she died from a severe cold or infection, which sadly was common at the time. She was only 3 years old. After her death, the Suzuki family placed the doll on a small household altar. In Japan, this is a way of remembering loved ones who have passed away. The doll became a kind of memorial for their daughter. But sometime after placing it there, the family began to notice something strange. The doll's hair appeared to be getting longer. When they first bought the doll, its hair had been cut just above the shoulders, but over time, it seemed to grow. At first, the family assumed they must be imagining it, but the change became more and more noticeable. Eventually, the hair appeared to grow all the way down toward the doll's knees. Now, dolls from that period were sometimes made using real human hair, but the idea that the hair could continue growing after the doll was made raised unsettling questions. Some members of the family began to believe that perhaps Okiku's spirit had attached itself to the doll. Years later, when the Suzuki family moved away from Hokkaido, they made a decision. They couldn't bring themselves to throw the doll away. Instead, they brought it to a Buddhist temple called Menenji Temple in the town of Wamizawa. They explained the story to the monks and asked if the temple could care for it. The monks agreed. Today, the doll is still kept at Menenji Temple. Visitors see it displayed inside. According to caretakers, the doll's hair continues to grow slowly over time and occasionally is trimmed. Some reports claim that strands of the hair were examined and found to be human, but no widely accepted scientific explanation has ever confirmed why the hair appears to grow. Whether the changes can be explained by natural causes or something more mysterious, the Okiku Doll remains one of Japan's most famous paranormal legends. And if you visit the temple today, the doll is still there, with its long black hair, eyes that many visitors say seem to quietly follow them as they pass by. But not all Japanese paranormal stories are quiet or subtle like this one. Some are far darker, and this next case is considered by many to be one of the most disturbing paranormal legends to come out of Japan. Deep in the mountains of Japan, there are stories of a place known as Himuro Mansion. According to legend, the mansion was once home to a family who carried out a series of ancient rituals. These rituals were believed to be necessary to seal away malevolent spirits, and if the ritual failed, those spirits would be released. One of the rituals, often referred to as the strangling ritual, was said to involve a young woman chosen by the family. She would live in isolation for years, cut off from the outside world, until the day of the ceremony. According to the legend, the ritual required her to be bound with ropes, which would then be pulled apart. The belief was that her sacrifice would create a seal, keeping dangerous spirits from entering the world. But according to the story, something went wrong. Some versions say the chosen woman had fallen in love. Others say she refused to accept her fate. Whatever the reason, the ritual failed. After the failed ritual, the legend claims the family descended into chaos. Some accounts say they turned on each other. Others say they were driven mad, and eventually everyone inside the mansion was killed. Since then, Himuro Mansion is said to be haunted by the spirits of those who died there. People who claim to have encountered the location describe shadowy figures, ghostly apparitions, and an overwhelming sense of dread. Some say they've seen a woman bound in ropes. Others describe hearing whispers or cries in empty rooms. The legend became more widely known after it was said to have inspired the video game series Fatal Frame, a game where players explore haunted locations using a camera to reveal spirits. But despite its popularity, there is no confirmed locations for Himuro Mansion. No official records, no verified address. Some believe the story is based on real historical practices exaggerated over time. Others believe the mansion may exist somewhere, hidden, abandoned, and forgotten, and some think the story itself has taken on a life of its own. But whether the Himuro Mansion ever existed or not, the legend remains one of Japan's most unsettling paranormal stories. Because at its core, it asks a disturbing question. What if some places aren't meant to be found? From a train station that doesn't exist, to a doll that may carry a spirit, to a mansion tied to a dark and violent ritual. These stories continue to raise the same question. Are they simply legends or something more? This is Spooky Paranormal Tales, real stories, real cases, and mysteries that remain unexplained. Thanks for watching.